Hello, dear friends. We continue learning about associative socionics, and we start with chapter 2, page 70, theory of associative socionics. The questions which we consider today, it will be: what is the term TPE stands for, compared to TIM, which we call team. We also consider associative model. What is associative model, and compared to model A, and descriptions of type groups by the type of energy. TPE stands for type of psychic energy. Why this term has to be created in socionics? Because it is different to type of information metabolism. As you know, type of information metabolism is socionics, is represented by the model A, the structure of personality and metabolism, different functions, 8 functions in 8 different positions. And type of psychic energy refers to more general qualities of types, to the group of types, not to 16 different models. Why it was needed? Type of information metabolism describes people who has got psych, yeah. So something happens in them. But when we describe objects not living, they don't have information metabolism, but they still carry with them some information, and information doesn't come without energy. Yeah, so it is like two sides of the same coins. Yes, our Stevenshooter, she focused on information metabolism. Information was for her important, but she never said that model A is just about information, because information does not exist without energy, and she wrote about it. So that's why, in a way, if you have got model A, it describes information and energy metabolism at the same time. On the other hand, because my theory is linked very closely with structure of personality by Sigmund Freud, information also from the theory of Carl Jung, which were talking about type of energy which does not disappear, which we carry within us, psychic energy. And that's why these more general qualities I refer to a group of types and call it type of psychic energy. That's what we see in the art, for example, and music as well. More like in other objects, but other objects also can be understood in terms of psychic energy. So because we analyze preferences in art, when we look and analyze the picture, for example, we cannot say that picture has got information metabolism. No, picture refers to or is associated with this or that, for example, type of personality who has got information metabolism, but picture is not living object. That's why we say picture is associated with type of psychic energy. Then we talk about, what is the meaning of psychic energy? Psychic energy is the the difference of associative model with model A. So when we talk about associative model, we have two different things in mind. Butterfly model has got also blocks which associated with pairs of functions and type of psychic energy. And model A also has got blocks in it. But functions would be different because associative model divides all the functions in pairs based on the same attributes. For example, in block ego, type energy ego represented by functions which are both extroverted, dynamic and rational, TE and FE. And other blocks of model A as well have got pairs of functions which are the same on these attributes. But in model A, these functions will be standing on the position either program or role functions, because functions associated in blocks in model A on a different principle. That's one thing. So when we talk about model A, we need to know what does it represent. 4 types of psychic energy, 4 pairs of function as a value functions for that particular type of energy, and 3 attributes which we assign to a certain type of psychic energy. So when you answer the questions in the test, you need to know, for example, superate energy is associated with introversion, rationality, and dynamics, and the value functions are SI and NI, that is introverted intuition and introverted sensing. Another thing about model A, about associative model, is about distribution of type of psychic energy in our psyche. So there is 4 types of psychic energy, and in different types they will be represented in different groups of types. They will be represented differently. But for example, in super-ego types, super-ego energy will be leading, and then there will be other types of energy. We also call it the profile. So associative model is also about distribution of psychic energy in the psyche of the person. But we are not talking about this. It's just for us, it's important to compare model A and associative model. When we type the person, we look at certain criteria. We look at value functions, a pair of value functions. For example, if it is ego types, then the functions of TE and FE should be stronger together, than other pairs of functions. We also look at to find these 3 attributes. Like, for example, for ego types, it will be extraversion, dynamics, and rationality. And we will be looking today also in the description of types by the type of psychic energy. That is also very important, because people usually learn very quickly about quadras and how understand personality with association by the quadra, with the values of quadra, but they not really understand how to identify the type of psychic energy. what are the characteristics. And the descriptions of types of psychic energy are linked to temperaments of Hippocrates, classical temperaments: sanguine, melancholic, choleric, and phlegmatic. So that's what we will be talking about. And of course, to understand which pairs of functions brighter in the person, you need to know what does it mean. What does it mean TE, FE, and all these functions, and what does it mean attributes, to be rational, irrational, and so on. But we learned about it in our first course already. However, in the book, in page 72, there is a description of these functions. For example, group ego, TE represents business logic, which is factual, profit and goal orientated, interested in what works and how it works. Technology, organization, statistics, effectiveness, and productivity. FE, it is about ethics of emotions, expressions of emotions, when the people express emotions adequately and not hesitate, not hold them back, and they cry in public, for example, if they feel like that. No, if they are logical, they will be giving maybe instructions how to do things. They will say about the goals and how to achieve them. Group IT, which is associated with sanguine temperament, it is the functions NE and SE. Intuition, extroverted is intuition of insight. People are full of ideas. Interests, follow their interests, and juggling these ideas to create maybe new theory, but also very good at finding the right choice, making the right choices at the right times. They might be feeling a bit about themselves very confident, because an E, it is inside. People like feel they know, and what they know is true. SE, power of sensing, powerful sensing, or sensing of power. This is about enjoying life, freedom of action, expansion in space, and sense of ownership. And these people like love their possessions, material possessions as well. TP, superego, it is TI. It's all about principles, order, rules, and FI, ethics of relations, about relationship of people, between people, empathy, and so on. Group spirit, it is NI, intuition of doubt, indecisiveness, imagination, premonition, foresight, self-absorption, mental wanderings, detachment of reality. And SI, it is slightly opposite. It's about subjective perception of reality through senses and bodily sensations, a sense of spatial harmony, the perception of surfaces, and focus on health. Yeah, this is a very short description of functions. Then we go to consider description of types. So what is different about it types? They associated with children, so this they have in them positive drive, and if something happens, maybe sad, that it will not last long. They don't really want to focus on their failures and disappointments. They're cheerful, open, optimistic, and that's what they bring to the socio, to all other type. Joy of life, Intuitive it types, they have got lots of interests, lots of ideas. They like to share their ideas, while sensing types like their possessions. They like to be beautiful. They attracted to beauty, to bright colors. What can be slightly negative about these types, because we have got all positive and negative characteristics. Like children, they can be slightly selfish, more focused on their interests, and of course sensing can attract possessions but also push away objects or people, isn't it? So they can be difficult at times, or maybe ignore others, interests of others, this sort of childish component to their personality. How to recognize them? When they talk, when we see them in interviews, long interviews, we see that no matter what the topic is about, they are very easygoing and maybe a bit relaxed, and they like to laugh. They always find something to be funny, even if they describe difficult situation. For example, I watched the film recently, Should I Marry a Murderer, on Netflix. It's not a new film. And the lady was involved romantically in a person who killed someone in the past and hid that fact. And when she tells what she went through, it is very stressful and very hard circumstances, because she loved the person, but she had to say the police, and at the same time she stayed with this person. She was scared, she had to play the role that it was not her, and so on. The situation was incredibly stressful. Her parents, when they talk about this time, they were all tears. And herself, she is also like in tears sometimes. She describes the turmoil which she has got in herself. And at the same time, like a child, one moment we see the tears in her eyes, another time she's just like almost saying that about moments that were funny, and you know how situation was odd. Why is that? Because it types, being rational types, they are good to adjust to circumstances. So she managed to separate on one hand situation with the police, that she was talking to the police, and at the same time having feelings to this person. She was in love, and trying to get a good times with them, you know, like two different lives, two different roles, and they were laughing and partying and so on. So which is very odd, but that's how she is. And when we see that the person talks about something and always finds something to laugh about and to make something funny, you can say, oh, that's probably sanguine temperament and possibly it type. Another interesting fact I would like to talk about, film director of the film Mr. Nobody Against Putin. I think that's the name of the film. Pavel Talankin, who went through absolutely crazy circumstances, being a photographer and making videos at school about all patriotic events. That was his role. He was kind of organizer of events at school and making videos. So he was already involved with someone from the West and made a film for BBC. And at the same time, he was joking about it when he was at school and was making films. And somebody asked, "Oh, what films do you make, or for whom do you make? And he said, I make film for BBC, which was actually true, but because it was unthinkable at that time, so yeah, it's almost like playful, these circumstances. But I wanted to say about how he behaved in interview. And in interview, he was talking about difficult situation he had, emotionally difficult, but at the same time he always finds something funny, something to make something odd, to laugh about something. For example, he talks about how he carries Oscar wrapped up in his clothes in some sort of bag in airport. Yeah, not in a box, not properly like people would do it. Just, like we put some cups or something into our suitcases. So that's how he brought it in some sort of funny bag, which people go to the shop to buy food, for example. Yeah. So so these are it types. They want to enjoy life, and as I said, the instinct which they have got, and that irrational types, they're slightly closer to nature. They a little bit more understanding, maybe observing, percepting nature, and that's what makes them different from rational types. So as children, they like to satisfy their needs, to focus on their needs as well, and that's where comes in them also aggression, SE, volitional sensing, protection of territory, possessions. That's what we see in people. That's what may happen. And the life is more like a game. And if you look at the nature, dangerous games animals play with each other. They actually eat each other, yeah, to survive. But there is this element of game when they chase each other, for example, almost like they playing this dangerous game. And that's what we see sometimes in criminals. If animals play and kill for survival, mainly to eat because they're hungry, they have to be quick, element of gaming as well. But when people kill each other, yeah, it's more about feeling sense of control, the sense of possession and control, sense of a game, feeling domination, like in animals. That's what we see. Game is also being creative when we manipulate objects, yeah, when we are creative. That's also element of gaming and element of it, a play. When intuitive it types, they play and manipulate ideas, creating theory and so on, mixing up something which should not be mixed in the mind of a rational person. That is also element of play. Yes, so that's how we can understand maybe partially why some people do unimaginable things, because there are also sexual games, sexual. So people are high, I don't know, high animals, or how we say it. So that's what probably comes from that animal instinct nature in people as well. The colors which we associate with it types are yellow, the sun, makes it light, makes it warm, distributing in space, and power of the sun. And green, the best way to associate it with possibilities, with the tree of life. These leaves, as long as we live, we have got these possibilities. Leaves can be considered as people who die at the time when becomes autumn and winter, but also as a possibilities. As long as we live, we have got these many different possibilities, and that's what life brings. Possibilities. Okay. I see that's already 25 minutes. It's quite a long. Maybe I should stop now and talk about other types a bit later. I don't really want to make my videos very long. Thank you for watching. I will talk in the next video about other types.